in my lifetime, before I was 18, I think we lost maybe 3 houses, right? So I always wanted to, that was a passion to have more than one.
Chip on my shoulder. Yeah, yeah. I got something to prove, like a gun in a holster. Yeah, yeah. Loaded, ready to shoot. Got big energy. Yeah. Ain't scared to dream. Got big energy. Got big energy.
You know this a different energy, right?
And I tell people, any job you take, you're going to sit and decline a promotion.
Yeah.
That man was making what? Not even $1 million at Jackson.
Yeah.
And he went to what? $3.1 million?
I
I think more than that.
I think
just
it's
throwing
five.
the ball. Five. What,
Five, yeah.
5 point whatever.
$5 or $6 million
Yeah,
a
yeah.
year.
Come on, man. Really?
Now, but for him, I don't even think it's money. I think sometimes his sons, and then, you know, when you're a competitor, I've seen you play football. I've seen you compete with lifting weights. I've seen you in competition, man, where you was putting the work in and, you know, doing it. When you're a competitor, you always have to challenge yourself to go deeper and do more. If you stop challenging yourself, whenever you cap, whenever you become comfortable with something, when you can dominate it, some people say, well, man, just park right there. But now, when you cap, you can't go no higher.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So you got to keep challenging. I think the challenge of, let me show the world that I can take this team that won one game last season. They were 1-11 last season. Let me take this team, and based on my leadership ability, let me see, can I turn this team around? And if he don't win no more games this season, he still had a better season than they had last year.
And he's right now, I think they're rocky right now, but he's eventually going to turn it
Oh,
up
yeah.
by next year.
It's his first year.
Man, check this out. You tell me what kid don't want to play for Deion Sanders? Listen, if I was a kid and I'm being recruited, I don't care about nothing else. I'm going to Deion.
He's won a World Series.
Yes.
He got 2 Super Bowl
Super Bowl.
rings. He's broke records.
Yep.
How you going to argue with this man results, right? And then, you know, he will do something that's unconventional. You can't always do what everybody else is doing. You got to do something different. He came in and got rid of almost the whole team and started recruiting, and everybody went crazy.
So he bringing his Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, he's one of the best recruiters out there right now. You can't argue with results, man.
With and plus, he said another thing which I love. He stated that he's not trying to get guys in the NFL. He want to have a job draft.
Yeah.
He bring all his connections in that he know, and his guys will be able. The ones that doesn't make it,
Yeah.
they have an opportunity to go into the workforce.
We've never heard of that before.
He said he see a city councilman in there. He said he see a mayor in there.
Yeah.
You know, he see just not football players, and he see different, you know, categories of life in there, man.
Well, you know what? He's a realist.
Yeah.
Think about how many guys make it to that next level.
Slim.
So
And when you do make it, we know some guys from my community that made it, but wasn't there long.
Yeah.
So once you get there, it's still hard to
Stay there.
Yeah.
Because what you did to get there is one level. But then when you get to that next level, when the politics and everything else is involved, mentally, it's more mental than anything else. It's not even physical, it's mental. Is your mind conditioned to stay there and compete at that level when everybody wants your job? Now money ain't the problem no more.
Money ain't the problem no more.
Now you ain't hungry no more.
Yeah.
You ain't you know, you ain't eating bologna and cheese no more. You ain't eating ramen noodles no more. Now I can write a check for whatever. Am I still hungry now? Am I still willing to put the work in to get to that level? And most people cannot do it. They can't do it. You got to stay hungry, man. You got to keep grinding and evolving as a person, and you can't be afraid to grow. You cannot be afraid.
Can't be. You got to be. You know my favorite saying for my trainer, Train Soul University. You got to be uncomfortable with the uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You got to.
Yeah.
Be, man.
Yeah.
That's in life. That's in anything you do.
It's an evolution.
Yes.
It's always about evolving and growing. Man, think about it this way. Let's take a child that's 5 years old, and you see them, and they're at a certain height right now. And 30 years later, you come back, and they're still at the same size. Something's wrong.
Obviously, yeah. Obviously, yeah. Yeah.
So it's all about evolution. It's all about growing, man, and becoming. It's an unfolding, right? And so if you stop growing, I guarantee you, you're going to wake up one day and be miserable. Because you're going to realize how much time you wasted trying to be the same person. When you realize one day I got more in me and I never capitalized on it.
I know people tell me, that we get to the next thing, I just want to say this. A lot of people say, man, how you have time to do this and that? I work 12 hours at my 9 to 5, personal train, and I get my workout in, and plus I do podcasts. I tell people you make time for things that you really want to do.
That's
I
it.
ain't scared. And I'm still home at the end of the day about 6 o'clock with my family.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
You sound like me. I got
Yeah.
3 jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
I just
3 get up
jobs,
earlier than
man.
everybody else.
Yeah.
Like some people, I send out my videos 3 o'clock in the morning 'cause I'm on the treadmill, grinding right now, sending out my videos for YouTube.
3 o'clock in the
3
morning.
o'clock in the morning. I'm up 3 o'clock in the morning every day.
I'm up at 5.
Yeah, man. So I just get stuff done. Whatever I want done, and that's in life, people. Whatever you want done, when there's a will, there's a way. You can make time to bull jive. You can make time to do other things. Make time for something that's going to benefit you and your life and your family, whatever you got going on. Be the best what you want to be, man. Be comfortable with the uncomfortable. I don't know how
That's
many times I
good.
gotta prove
That's
that.
good, man. No,
Yeah.
no, that's good.
Yeah.
Whatever you prioritize
Yeah.
and whatever you focus on, whatever you put your attention on, you become good at.
Yeah.
That man right there just told me earlier that he, out of all the tattoo artists in the world, he was able to tattoo a legend like Kelly Price. It took him 20-something years to perfect the craft. Whatever you focus on and you prioritize and you put the effort into over time, you become good at it. People say practice make perfect. No, perfect practice
There you go.
makes it
There
perfect,
you
right?
go. Facts.
So when you are starting to hone in on it and you become better, I sent my sons Monday a clip, a reel, and this guy says, if you want to be rare, he said, every year, put 100 hours into whatever you want to work on. He broke it down in 18 minutes a day. He said, if you do that, you will be in the top 10% of everybody in the world. 20 minutes a day.
Wow. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So whatever you want to be good at, it's going to require effort and time and energy, and then you got to focus in on it, commit your life to it, and most people want greatness without sacrifice.
It don't happen like that, bro. It don't happen like that, man.
You built this business, and you right now the #1 tattoo artist in this area. He didn't build that overnight. You see what I'm saying? You didn't build it overnight. It takes time to build anything, but then you gotta be willing to do what other folk won't do if you want to be in that rare air. That's the goal.
This episode is sponsored by Goings Law Firm. If you or your family member needs a real deal lawyer who knows how to fight hard in court, call Robert Goings and his team at the Goings Law Firm. They handle car wrecks, trucking accidents, workers' comp, and serious injury or death cases. If you want the best, you got to hire the best. Robert Goins and his law firm team know how to win and get you the money you deserve. Goins Law Firm is located at 1510 Calhoun Street, Columbia, South Carolina. Again, 1510 Calhoun Street, Columbia, South Carolina. Train So Hard University, where it's just not a movement, it's a lifestyle. You can contact myself, Excalibur Miller, on Facebook, or my Instagram, The Miller Experience, or you contact my brother, T. Miller, on Facebook, or on Instagram, Prodigal Son 36. If you're interested in being a sponsor for Shop Talk or The Miller Experience, you can contact myself, Ernest Miller, at 803-565-9752, or you can hit me up on my email at eaenestmiller83@gmail.com. You can also make contact with my producer, Victor Wesley of Vic West Production. His telephone number is 803-225-0021. Also, his email address is vicwestp@gmail.com.
How do we get into real estate, man? Tell me about that, brother. 'Cause,
Oh,
I'm
God.
interested in that too, man.
So you want to know the truth?
Yeah, I want to know the
Okay,
truth.
so you heard me say it earlier. I told you how many houses we lost.
Yeah.
It was birthed out of pain. So you didn't know this, but even while I was cutting hair, I had rentals.
I didn't know that.
I had rentals in Sumter and Manning way back then.
Okay.
I still have a house in Manning now. I still have properties here in Sumter.
Okay.
And because I was renting over time, I had a passion to sell. So I got my license some years ago, started selling. Thank God he blessed that. And I've always had, I would sit home and watch these do-it-yourself shows where they flipping houses, and I started flipping. So I started buying, selling, and flipping. But when in my lifetime, before I was 18, I think we lost maybe 3 houses, right? So I always wanted to, that was a passion to have more than one. But the rental part became, I got married, and when I got married in 06, I got my first rental, and we kept building from there.
How do you get your rental? People that probably don't know, one that's interested.
Well, man, it's all, so let me say this, and this is the whole thing, right? So one of the key ways to still build wealth is owning some dirt.
Talking about that before you came in. We literally had that conversation.
They're not making any more dirt, right? So when you own a piece of dirt, over time, if you keep it up, the value goes up, right? Most people think you got to start off big. You can start off small. You can buy a house. You can buy a fixer-upper for under, let's just be real nice, under 50 grand, right? Take your time, and $50,000, your payments are cheap. Sometimes you can find them on a tax lien for under 5,000, right? I think Sumter is sometime in October, right? You can go to a tax lien thing, pay your money, auction. You can go in there and buy some property for under $5,000. That you sit on that property for a year. If that person or that family comes back to buy it, they got to pay you interest, right? If they don't pay you interest, I don't care if there's still a mortgage on the house. After 12 months, you own it free and clear, never have to pay a mortgage on it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm glad you brought that up because I've been wanting to know if they take credit card.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Yeah. As long as it's valid.
Yeah. Right. That's all I need to know.
So what happens is you go in there, you buy a piece of property. You sit on the property for, let's say 12 months, right? If that person or that family that owns the property comes back to buy it, they got to pay you interest on the money, right? Oftentimes people die and the family can't pay it, they can't come back to get it. Now, that city or state tax bill trumps out every other bill, including the mortgage. They trump out the lender, you see? So after you pay it, 12 months pass, right? Nobody comes back to get it. You own that property free and clear. Now, let's say you paid $5,000 for it, but now the appraisal on the property is $80,000. That means you $75,000 in the good, right? So you can go back to the bank. Now you own it free and clear and get $35,000. Fix the property up. Put some money into it. Now let's just say the property that was worth $75,000 or $80,000 is now worth $140,000. But you only paying $35,000 back. So you take that property and you move somebody else in the property, right? They paying you, let's say $1,200 a month. Your payments for the $35,000 is $400. So how much profit you making? You making $800 profit every month. Somebody else is paying the house back off for you.
Vic, when we just talking about that? We was just literally had that same conversation.
Somebody else. So it's not costing you any money now. So now that property becomes leverage for another property because you got equity in that property. Somebody else, if they stay in your house for 10 years, they paid your mortgage off. Mm-hmm. And while they're sitting in the house, the property's still going up.
Man, you listen to our conversations when we came. You got bugged up.
You see what I'm saying?
That's all I needed to know. If they take valid credit cards, I'm sure about me.
You don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah.
So
that's why I want the people to hear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes people do it that way. Sometimes there's houses in foreclosure that if you're on the list, you can go on websites and foreclosure.com and find properties, right? And there's people, all you got to pay is what's left on the mortgage. See, you don't have to pay, the house can appraise at $150,000, but that person paid it down to 20,000. Yeah. Wow. So all you gotta do is pay the 20,000 in the fees. Yeah. Yeah. And now that's your property. Yeah. And you come in and put a little love into it, some fresh paint, some floors, some nice chandeliers and fixtures, and everything you do increases the value.
Increase the value, yep.
So now you might not have the cash in your hand, but your net worth might be 200,000 because you got property. That's always leverage.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So that's one of the ways you can do it, right? I ain't trying to get too deep into it, but that's one of the ways you can do it.
We here learning, baby. That's what we want to know, man. We here learning.
Yeah. So, it's a big deal, man. And honestly, I flipped one a little while ago, and that one, we went in with my team, flipped the whole house in 35, 40 days. Day and night, though.
So you got a team. Hold on. So are you individual, or do you work for an agency, or is it just you?
So I work for an agency, but my flipping is actually me, but I have some guys that I have access to help me do all the work.
I got you.
I kind of subcontracted myself. Yeah. I got a certified plumber over here. I got a certified electrician. I got a paint guy. So I become my own subcontractor, which cuts my costs. You see what I'm saying?
That's what my grandfather did.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Yeah, that's how he did.
Yes, sir.
To be continued. So make sure you check out the next episode. And also you make sure you to like, subscribe, and comment on my YouTube channel, The Mill Experience. And now we also on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. Make sure you download. Peace.
Successful by sticking messages and rap God's with me. Who told you being intelligent is whack? So place your bets. My faith is fresh. I'ma make it stretch. Cause I sat there eye to eye with the face of death. And you ain't putting work in unless you break a sweat. Bringing back a 4-course meal. Keep the table set. Step in my belief.